calls out signals. Takes the snap. He's back. He's flush to his left. He's running. Looking to run. Now stops. Now under pressure. And he just throws it in the end zone. Incomplete. So the Giants stop him on the two-pointer.
Welcome into Giants Postgame Wrap Up presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. I'm Madelyn Burke here with two-time Super Bowl champion David Diehl. And David, the Giants got that win over the Washington football team. How good does that feel to say?
There is no better cure-all in the world than vitamin W, winning football games. And for this coaching staff, Joe Judge getting his first win, and for this Giants football team, what a great way to end up on top after that failed two-point conversion by this Washington football team. And
you mentioned that failed two-point conversion after Cam Sims got that touchdown on the 22-yard catch. Walk us through what happened here.
Obviously, Kyle Allen is dropping back and he has options. His first read is to the right. There's nothing open. He tries to look to the left. Nothing there. Tries to buy himself some time outside of the pocket. And with the great back-end coverage, but more importantly, with the finishing philosophy of this defense, Dexter Lawrence was able to come over, get a big key hit, and make sure that he secured that this game would be over with a failed two-point conversion. So big credit for this Giants team to step up in that big moment and to come away with a win.
What a way to celebrate. You know what? These guys were happy to have that win as well. Take a listen.
Man, came out here, fought hard. There was a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, our defense came up huge in the end, and we got the dub. Go Giants.
Hey, man, good team win. We had to play all 60 minutes. It was earned this week, man. Don't worry, tune in for next week, too, on Thursday Night Football, baby.
That was Darius Slayton and Dalvin Tomlinson. Dalvin pointing out we got a short week this week. Thursday Night Football against the Eagles, another division game. But before we get into that one, we got to walk through this one a little bit more. David, the defense was huge, especially a big play in that fourth quarter by Mr. Irrelevant, playing very relevant, Tay Crowder.
Yes, big play by Tay Crowder, being able to scoop and score, but this is all by Kyler Fackrell. You see it's a 3rd and 9. They converted a 3rd and 2 earlier, is able to come up with the sack, forced fumble, and most importantly, once again, finishing the play. And for this Mr. Irrelevant to become a relevant player and score the game-winning touchdown, it says a lot about the contributions of everybody on this roster.
Absolutely. Running it back right there, looking over his shoulder, getting into the end zone, getting that defensive touchdown, and just making those big plays are so key for this Giants team. The defense, though, I mean, James Bradbury once again proving what an important element he is to this Giants defense as well.
No question. A key interception in this one. They line up, and Kyle Allen initially thinks that it's man, but they end up dropping back into zone coverage. Tries forcing one to Terry McLaurin, but the veteran James Bradbury and the key offseason signing by this Giants defense came up with another key takeaway that lent right into the offense driving down and putting up a touchdown on the board.
Absolutely, and the takeaway was huge, but so was the pressure. The Giants defense continuing to put pressure on the quarterback. They got 3 sacks on Kyle Allen today.
And it wasn't only by the defensive line, but it was also by the secondary. This is one where we see Leonard Williams making sure that he does his job, doesn't try to overcompensate with all the smoke and mirrors, and closes in and gets a key sack on Kyle Allen.
14-yard loss on that sack right there.
And this is what I was talking about, the blitz packages that Robert Graham was throwing out there. This is another one that when you see him ripping off the edge, and you see whether it's Logan Ryan or we saw Peppers involved in it as well, those are the types of plays that you need to make, and you have to be able to do it from all over the field.
Logan Ryan, he had 8 tackles and a sack today. He was huge for this Giants team. It seemed like he was being mentioned all the time on this broadcast. We've seen how much of a leader he can be in the locker room, in his media sessions, but how much did that translate to the field today?
It translated all over the field. Obviously, his number was one that we called a lot, but the other thing, you could see his communication and leadership out there on the field with all the different crossing route and seam routes that this Washington football team offense was trying to run.
All right, we've got a lot more breakdown of this game coming up, and we'll hear from Giants head coach Joe Judge. So stay with us on Giants Postgame Wrap Up presented by Mercedes-Benz. And hey, today's game between the Giants and Washington was our crucial catch game. The Giants partnered with Breast Cancer Research Foundation in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October. A cable bracelet in pink rubber will be sold by David Yurman for $20. David Yurman will donate 100% of net profits benefiting Breast Cancer Relief Foundation. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap Up presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. That was Joe Judge, head coach, getting the game ball after his first win as head coach of this Giants team. After the game, he gave a little victory speech at the podium. Take a listen.
Overall, I'm proud of the way our team competed for 60 minutes today. You know, we talked about it on the front end. There's things we had to do and play our style of ball. You know, sometimes you got to make it a little bit grimy, but that's the way we got to play sometimes. But I'm proud of the way they played, and you know, I'm proud of the guys that, you know, they get to see some tangible results for their work, and they've been working hard. That being said, I'll open up the questions.
Bruce Beck. Coach, congratulations. What did you find out about your team today?
Well, I think we all found out that, you know, when we put ourselves in position, don't shoot ourselves in the foot, that the results will come and happen. I already knew they were a resilient group. I knew they were a tough group, a mentally tough group. I'm just proud they were able to get the win today and that their work was rewarded. But there's a lot of things that are just confirmed about what I already knew about these guys. They had good energy. You know, they stay together on the sideline. In every game, you're going to have some kind of a storm, and you got to fight through the storm. And, you know, you see with our guys, when that kicks up, they stay together. They have good communication on the sideline. There's good energy. They support each other. You know, I'm proud of the way they stick together.
Paul Schwartz.
Joe, how are you?
Hey, Paul, good. Thanks, man.
Okay, good. Joe, until you get the first one, you don't have the first one. So I know you don't like to internalize and take things personally, but this is your first win as a head coach. What did it mean to you? What was the locker room like? And now that you finally got it in the 6th week, is it a relief?
You know what? I mean, the locker room obviously had a lot of energy afterwards. The guys were, you know, very happy. You know, there's been a lot of pressure, obviously, that they put on themselves that we put on them. And they've been fighting hard for, you know, 6 weeks and working through training camp for us. You hit this point right here, you just want to make sure you get the results. And I'm happy the fans were able to have it. You know, I'm happy the players were able to enjoy it today.
Did the head coach enjoy it, Joe?
Yeah, I did. I'm sure I'll turn the tape on and look. I tell you guys all the time, and I'm not just saying this, like win or lose, there's good things to highlight, and there's things you got to, you know, improve on, and you have to highlight to your team that we've got to make sure the other team's watching is aware of as well. So, look, you know, right now, I mean, I'm going to look at this tape tonight and kind of make any corrections we need to, and then we got to turn the page quickly and get on to Philly.
Art. Hey, Joe, what's going on?
Hey, Art, what's going on, man?
As Washington is driving, are you guys thinking that if they score a touchdown that they're going to go for 2? Were you surprised that Ron decided to do that? And what did you see on the play from your defense that stood out and stopped it?
No, you know what? I was actually expecting them to go for 2. They've been aggressive in a lot of situations this year. Ron's always been aggressive as a head coach. You know, you're on the road. A lot of times that's the decision you're going to make right there. We knew they were going to treat those last couple series like they were their last series. They're going to try and get this thing all the way down the clock. I thought Pat made a great call in the 2-point conversion. That's actually a call we put in this week. I thought the guys matched it and played it very well. We got some pressure from the line. You know, I saw the DBs did a good job getting the initial coverage. They were trying to work, you know, really McLaurin on kind of a hesitation and work out to the flat right there. I think it was Logan on him at that point right there, did a good job covering him. But it was a call Pat put in this week. The guys did a really good job working that on Friday, really improving on some things that we put on tape in practice that were mistakes, cleaned it up through Saturday, and, you know, hey, practice execution becomes game reality.
With the call, Dexter and Blake both ended up finishing it. Did they both have flat responsibility, or how did that play out?
I mean, look, roughly it's a combo call right there where, in terms of that flat responsibility, based on the way the play, you know, comes out, different guys can take it. So it's kind of a different hybrid of a zone right there for us. But both guys did a good job breaking on it.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm right.
Joe, what was your take on the Fackrell fumble and then Tay scooping it up and scoring?
Yeah, I wish Tay would have bent his knees a little better and taken it cleaner off, but I'm glad the second time through he got it and finished on out. But it was a nice job of, you know, the guys putting pressure on it. You know, we've been preaching for a while, keep the pressure on the quarterback. The turnovers will come. They did today. And, you know, Tay did a good job of finishing the play. Just got to make sure we don't kick that thing initially and give them an opportunity to get on that ball.
And then I know that they brought CJ to the hospital. Have you heard anything back from there yet?
Yeah, I'm going to wait on the official diagnosis. The one thing I can say, you know, good news-wise, you know, even on the field, he was moving, he was conscious, he was responding, he had feeling, he had moving all of his extremities. you know, they obviously had to have some precautions what they were doing. I'll let the doctors kind of diagnose exactly what it is, but the feedback I was given just now was pretty positive on him overall, so that was a relief.
That sound from Giants head coach Joe Judge was brought to you by Toyota, the official vehicle of the New York Giants. And David, it seems like week after week we've been talking about how the Giants are inching closer, putting things together, building momentum. Yep. But even after the win today, Judge said, you know what, we still have things to clean up.
No question. He talked about getting a tangible result, getting the result that you wanted after the hard work and dedication that you put in. We heard about the preparation, them going through two-point scenarios and actually having this one dialed in, which led to the success of winning the football game. But for me, what really stuck out through this is staying together and weathering through a storm, which you're going to get. And it reminded me of in 2004, we went from week 9 to week 16 with losing 8 straight games to finally winning week 17 against the Dallas Cowboys. It was something tough that we went through, but it brought us closer together as a football team. And after being battle-tested, that's what turned things around for us moving forward and turning us into a Super Bowl contender.
Hey, you mentioned weathering the storm. That takes mental toughness. And speaking of weather, that's probably something that this team built practicing in the downpouring rain earlier this week. All right, we've got a lot more coming up on the show. We'll hear from quarterback Daniel Jones. That and much more to come here on Giants Postgame Wrap Up, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Stay with us. Tonight's scoring drive of the game is brought to you by Investors Bank. Get the official New York Giants checking account only from Investors Bank. Visit investorsbank.com/Giants for more details. We'll take you to the second quarter. First down on a zone read. Daniel Jones decided to keep it, even had the cameraman fooled on that play as he runs it 49 yards up the sideline. He had 74 yards rushing on the day, and here he is once again running the ball. Another 9-yard gain as he takes it in and sets up Graham Gano, who's going to kick the 20-yard field goal. Puts the Giants up 13-3 in the second quarter. 8 plays, 73 yards, takes 4 minutes and 35 seconds off the clock, capped by that Graham Gano 20-yard field goal. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap-Up, presented by Mercedes-Benz. After the 20-19 win over Washington, let's take a listen to what Daniel Jones had to say.
Yeah, it's you know, exciting to get the result. You know, we feel like we've battled in all these games and been close, and then, you know, to finally get the result now is you know, a rewarding feeling. So you know, got to build on it going forward, and you know, learn from the things we didn't do well and build on the things we did do well.
Bruce Beck. So Daniel, what's your message to your teammates now as you go forward following, you know, the first win of the year?
I think just to build on it. You know, I think like all these games, there are things we didn't do well. There's things we did do well, and you know, the approach is to build on the good and to correct the bad. So, you know, today it was you know, good to get the result, to do enough to get the win, and you know, we know we got to keep improving and keep you know, moving forward as a team. And I think you know, guys understand that, and you know, that's how we're gonna you know, build on this one and you know, keep it going.
As Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, and David, he is 3-0 in his career against Washington football team. And as a player, does that register with you at all if there's a team that you play year in and year out that you have success against?
Well, obviously, you hope that have that type of record against every division rival. But, you know, when you look at the way that Daniel Jones came out and played in this football game, perfectly thrown ball to Darius Slayton for the touchdown, utilized his legs when he needed to. And when you look at his overall stats, he was only 12 of 19, and there's a reason. The offense only had 45 snaps in this football game. And I know everybody's going to go back to the interception that Daniel Jones threw, but if you go back and watch the film, you will clearly see that he is trying to throw that football out of bounds. But the route that Caden Smith came over to block Chase Young, he has got to stay inside out and not go outside in. That's why Chase Young was able to put that pressure on him, and that's why Daniel Jones wasn't able to follow through, and that ball was intercepted in the back of the end zone.
That ball was intercepted, as you mentioned, in the back of the end zone. They had to review it. It was just barely inbounds right there. But as he prepares on a short week, we got another division game coming up on Thursday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to hear a little bit more player sound, that and much more to come here on Giants Postgame Wrap-Up, presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants.
I have to say big ups to my teammate, Kyler Fackrell, for, making a great play, strip fumble, a strip sack on the quarterback. And, I was at the right place at the right time and just trying to make a play for my team.
A lot of guys who are picked last in the draft and you get that tag, Mr. Irrelevant, they don't even do anything in the NFL. They never even make a team. They never even make a play. What does it mean for you? Like, what's your mindset been since you got slapped there with that Mr. Irrelevant tag to get to this point where you're making a huge play?
I took it as motivation. I love the name. I just wanted to get here and get to work with my team. And one of my goals this year was, just help the team in any way I can. And I just thank God, just coming to work each day and going to work with my team.
I mean, it was obviously exciting. We finally got our win. We've been working hard and, finally got to see some fruits of our labor. It was obviously an ugly win, though. I mean, we obviously wanted to, do a lot better. There's still some football out there that we have to clean up. And, we're going to, with this short week, we don't really have much time to, watch the film. But, I think guys are going to try to, take ownership and watch on their own and see what we can clean up.
Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap Up presented by Mercedes-Benz. We heard from Tay Crowder, Mr. Irrelevant, with that very relevant play right there. I love that he loves the nickname. And then we also heard from Leonard Williams. And David, Leonard had a sack today, his third of the season. Last year, after he was traded to the Giants, it seemed like he was very involved and around the ball, but he made a lot of almost plays. This year, already 3 sacks. How much have you seen his game elevate?
I've seen his game elevate, and I've seen it elevate the game of his defensive lineman next to him. His point of attack effectiveness of being able to stack, shed, and not get edged and make sure that everything flows to the rest of the defense is something that you can't deny when you put on film.
And that defensive line, that continuity there's good relationships forming. I mean, Leonard Williams has talked about the relationship that he's got with Dexter Lawrence and how sometimes they'll look at each other and just a nod and be like, you know what, I'm going to go that side, you go this side, and put each other in a position to succeed. That familiarity really does elevate a unit, right?
No question. I mean, they always talk about continuity amongst an offensive line. It's no different than a defensive line, especially now once you're starting to build together repetitions. Now you can start working games. Now you're playing non-verbally and feeding off of the energy of one another.
And one thing Leonard Williams did mention, though, is this team still wants to clean up a few things. And that's one thing that we've heard a lot, and that's one thing this team will focus on a short week. The Giants' next game is coming up in just a few days. They've got Thursday night football. They'll play the Philadelphia Eagles at 8:20 p.m. And remember, flip it over to MSG right after that game because we will be on in our Giants postgame wrap-up right afterwards. So the Eagles, though, David, they're coming off a 30-28 loss to Baltimore in which Carson Wentz was sacked 6 times.
Which is something interesting when you look at the box score. They ran for 194 yards on the game. You knew with this offensive line in shambles and Lane Johnson now out for their right tackle position, they wanted to do whatever they could to keep Lamar Jackson off of the field. But the reason why the sack number piled up was because of the Philadelphia Eagles offense were 3 for 12 on 3rd down. They had 0 efficiency in the pass game, and that's something that this Giants defense can look forward to when they face them on Thursday night. If you stop the run of this team, you're going to be able to get after Carson Wentz.
Absolutely. This Giants defense has racked up 15 sacks now on the season. Defense really a strength of this Giants team, but as you mentioned, the Philly offense struggled. Even Zach Ertz only had 33 yards on the day. That's pretty surprising.
It is. It's very surprising because usually he's Carson Wentz's security blanket. So when you see numbers like that pile up, it goes to show you the disarray that their offense is in, and they're trying to look for an identity. They try to utilize it in the running game. It was unsuccessful today. So for this Giants team moving forward, especially on the defensive side of the ball, clean up the missed tackles. That's something that we saw show up in this game up against Washington that they must clean up when they face this Philadelphia Eagles team.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you're on a short week and you're coming off a win, does that juice give you that adrenaline to kind of really focus in, or does that make it a little easier?
It definitely does, especially when you're coming off of a win up against a division rival, and now you're playing on Thursday Night Football, knowing you are going to be the primetime game that everybody's going to be watching. So you definitely feel the energy is infectious once you come away from a win.
Prime time, no pressure. And obviously the Giants, slow start to the season, but a win, a division win against Washington today. Another opportunity with a division game on Thursday. How quickly the tides could change.
Very quickly, and it comes down to taking care of your own business, not looking forward to any games, and taking care of what's in front of you. And right now for this Giants team, it's learning from this game up against the Washington football team and preparing on a quick week for this Philadelphia Eagles game, because like you said, nobody's out of the playoff picture and nobody's out of the lead right now when it comes to the NFC East.
Physically, quickly, when you got a couple of days, how much ice baths are you taking? How many ice baths are you taking in this week?
You're taking at least 3 daily, that is for sure.
You got to keep that body right as this week turns around really quickly, and we will be back with you after Thursday's game with more Giants post-game wrap-up. Thanks for hanging out with us today. For David Diehl, I'm Madelyn Burke. Thanks for watching Giants post-game wrap-up. Giants with a 20-19 win, a division win, and the first win for head coach Joe Judge. Air 5. Love.